Hi all, right, welcome back to Enemy Action Kharkov, Soviet Solo, take 2 part 36 I believe. Right, I found a mistake. This was back in part 31 as well. Yeah, so not great. Thought I was maybe going to get away with the mistake, and then the fact it was back in 31, I thought, right, there's probably little chance of me fixing it. I've just spent about, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour maybe, looking over the video footage to see if I might have been able to fix that. And I've come to the conclusion I can't. Reason being, I would have needed to draw another German impulse, another card for one of the impulses, and yeah, that's just taking things too far. I couldn't then do that, and then I'd need to scrap everything basically, to fix it. So I'm going to have to let it go, sadly. What I can say is maybe the situation might not have been terribly different, but I can't really decide on what the outcome would have been. It's regarding 40 core. Yeah, we didn't draw a card and then drew 3 cards for them on the trot. And then we're panicking that they could get into the city here and realised that, yeah, we just... Well, actually, I look back on that and I realised it was because of advance after combat, moving adjacent to the unit, that then he didn't have the movement because he was moving out of zone of control. Anyway, let's try and talk about the error. What worries me is this was back in part 31. Now I watched 32 now, and I'm sort of halfway through 33. So my concern is that these haven't been watched, or well, certainly Martin never picked up on this one. Which my top assumption is he's maybe not watched it or watched it completely. But yeah, I can't expect them to pick up everything. I know that, but just he spots these things. So, but I spotted this one myself, so that was why I'd like to be able to make the videos one at a time, review them back, then I would have seen this error myself, then fixed it before I carried on with the next video. But it means you're sitting about waiting in between, and the time you've got to be able to sit and play the game, you can't do that because you've got to watch back footage. That's why I started chucking the videos out there in the hope that somebody might see it before I got the chance to sit and see it, Anyway. Right, so it's brought up quite a bit of discussion, and eventually a clarification, confirmation, bit of a rata involved from John Butterfield himself, because I posted the question on BGG, and yeah, a wee bit of debate about how. I asked the question. Tom Castle came back and said that he felt it should go this way, and I thought, right, okay, he knows his stuff. And then Martin piped up saying, well, it was a good question, it wasn't quite clear. And then I thought, all right, maybe I do have something there. And so we went back and forth about it, and eventually John did come in and put us all straight. Put me straight. Tom did have it right, but the wording's not right, so John is taking a note of that, and I'm sure it'll go into some kind of errata or something down the line. So what's it all about, Grant? Okay. Well, and the odd thing is, it's the second time I activate 40 core that I actually end up moving this unit into this VP hex. And then this is what brings up my slight confusion, because I'm reading the command. This could start getting a bit lengthy, so try and not do that, Grant. Let's try and not do that. Okay, so action step 2, right, is move to a VP hex. In fact, I'm going to prefer to read it out of the rule book because it's just Yeah, it's enough where it is in the parade, but move the unit to a VP hex regardless of ownership. Well, it's quite nice to get that bit in as well, because that brings some of the thoughts into it. So move the unit to a VP hex regardless of ownership. Move to a German VP hex only if empty or garrisoned. And this last bit, which is the bit that caught me out, and oddly enough though, I do what I should have done with the first unit, and I do it with this guy. And I even say, well, if I've got it wrong, it's still right, because that's it. That sounds a bit daft, but maybe you'll get what I'm meaning in a bit. So yeah, and it's the last bit of this, it is. So move to a German VP hex only if empty or garrisoned, and only if once the unit completes the move, a Soviet unit would be proximate to that unit. So again, and even Tom said he was unsure why it was done that way, and me too. I'm not that sure that why would you wait, until after, because what ends up happening is, did I not move this unit from, like, I don't know, it's something like here, where a lot of things have happened here. We've had an attack, you can't look at this, but we are not proximate to that VP hex, and then so the action is this guy moves to it, and then we are proximate to it. So I'm not quite sure what the thinking is in that. John never elaborated on any of that, which maybe might have been nice to understand where that came from. But however, that's written in the rules, and that's right, and whatever. So, but the bit that came up was, then I said to myself, well, hang on, this is a VP hex. Is it a VP hex? How is it worded? Is it a VP? When it says regardless of ownership, so, or is this a German VP hex? And this is where I started thinking. I initially thought that these were German VP hexes. That was my assumption, that these were German VP hexes. So that the instruction to move to that, he would only move to that if once he did move, then the Soviet unit was proximate. Whereas if it was just any old VP hex, it wouldn't matter. The unit would just move to it. So I wondered about that mistake before, and here it was just the previous impulse. The previous impulse from 40 Corps, the unit was in here. No, it wasn't in the VP hex. I think he was here, and it was the guy that's now moved away up here. It was a reduced unit, and he was down here, and we were wanting to move to a unit to a VP hex, and then I automatically assumed that this was a German VP hex, and I checked that we weren't proximate to it. So that's where I've then made the mistake, because I thought, right, that's a German VP hex, however, we're not proximate to it, move on. Well, there's a mistake, because even if it is classed as a German VP hex, once we had moved to it, we would then be proximate, and it says that in the rules. It says that after the move, if once the unit completes the move, a Soviet unit would be proximate to that unit, and that would have been the case. So that's where I made my mistake. But I did bring up the whole thing about, and the reason I thought I was getting out of it, I thought, well, if it's, no, I wasn't getting out of it, no, was I? Because let's just say I had looked at it as being a German VPX, and then we weren't proximate to it, then that, you know what, I'm tying myself up there. I'm tying myself up. I've been trying to think about it all for a while, to be honest. It's been going through my head all day, so yeah, I'm going to start getting myself in a bit of a muddle there. However, we made the mistake. That unit should have made there first, so it should have been that guy that's way up there that should be down here. I looked over things. The guy that we had in the town just sat there and didn't move. Like I say, the reduced unit moved down here. This guy basically didn't have anything to do, and he I looked through every command. He couldn't, because the way we originally moved it, the reduced guy ended up coming up here to help this guy out, and then this guy came down and was able to move down somewhere as well, to remove dangerous round. I think it was something like that. So I looked through it all, And I thought, right, well, if this guy didn't come up, can we still come down and remove dangerous surround, or get out of dangerous surround or something? Because he was only in, yeah, he was in here, 2104. I wrote them all down. Was it 2104? 2204. It was one of these two that this guy had been on. So I looked and there was no move. He couldn't make a move. He couldn't get out of dangerous surround. So I looked through every possible hex that he could go to. Couldn't do it. So eventually I moved on. And what he ended up doing was just building an IP, because he could do that. So I then thought, right, okay, so we've got this unit in here. Hang on a sec. I did write them down. The unit, it's 2204 he was on, yeah. So he was in here, so he had built an IP. The other unit was still in here, that was fine. Now the other guys, this guy was still up here somewhere. In fact, he made the move down there. Is that's unit 10? Is that 2109 he's in? Yeah, 2109. So he moved down there. That was okay. Like I say, this guy was in here. We had the guy in the hang, and then the reduced unit. Well, he had made the move up here, but he should have been down here. So I'd had him down there. So, and then this guy built an IP. We then went on to the next card, and of course everything's in the wrong position. So I went through the process again of what would have happened. Again, couldn't get this guy to do anything at all. He couldn't do a thing, and then he'd already built an IP. We weren't able, because this was just a camp group activation, so it only activated 2 units within 2, and it was these 2 units. And put that guy back down, I remember. And he couldn't do anything, and of course the guy in here couldn't move as well, because he was in a VP hex on his own, didn't want to move out of it. So I eventually come right through the card, and I wasn't able to carry an action for them. So I would have then needed to have drawn another card. So that's then when I thought, well, I can't fix this. I was hoping that I could maybe have altered it. But bearing in mind, we've had an attack after this as well, you know, so it's too far to go back. Like I say, what I will say is, you know, this reduced unit would be down here, and this guy might be up there somewhere. Or, well, I don't know where, because he wasn't really moving, so he might have still been sitting. He might have affected this battle. You know, I think we would have still been able to go and surround, because like I say, I couldn't find any way of getting this guy out of surround or getting myself out of surround. There was no moves, because there was pop-off units all over the place. Mechanised units that could go right round the back. There was nothing to stop them. Oh, I'd forgot about that garrison. That was in the second card though, wasn't it? Yeah. And by then I'd given up. I'd given up trying to fix it. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to let it go. Yes, don't like it, but what can we do? Scrap the game, or, you know, or wipe out 4 videos maybe, and do it over again. I don't think you want to see all that. I don't want to do all that, and I know I'm a stickler for getting things right, but yeah, these are going to come. It threw me a bit, and it's one of these ones, playing the game for the first time when you're seeing these things, and you know, maybe just you're going to get caught out a little bit, and yeah. So if I could fix it, I would, and I was trying my best, but I can't. So yeah, the discussion. So my question was, are map edge VP hexes considered to be German VP hexes when empty or garrisoned? Because I wasn't sure. I says, I'm kind of guessing the answer is no, and it looks like I've been caught out by this one when checking turn 3 and 4, action step 2. And Tom's come back, he says, why do you think no? I see no reason to distinguish between map edge and town city VP hexes. My reply to that was, the description of map edge hexes, VP hexes, it says, and it's got this in the rules on page whatever. We could find it, it's not that far away, Grant, where are you going? There it is, page 41. I think I read it out recently, didn't I? 4 hexes on the east and south map edges are marked with VP values. Unlike towns and cities, these hexes can't be owned by either player. So I mean, that in itself got me thinking, well, okay, this isn't a Soviet map edge VPX. It's not a German map edge VPX because they can't be owned by any player, you know. So that started me down that road. And then it talks about the VPs. So that was my reply to him. Tom had also said it is a rather unusual instruction and that you check Soviet proximity after rather than before the potential move, and that's that action step 2, you know, when it checks after you've moved to see if you're proximate to it, and I agreed with that. I found that, he says they can't be owned by Soviets by merely occupying and moving on, so they must be occupied and supplied to count for Soviet purposes. I understand all that. He says they certainly seem to be owned by the Germans when no supplied Soviet is present. Well, you know, but I don't think there's a game element that cares, so might as well say that neither side can own them. It's simpler. My argument was that movement method, action step, which is move the unit to VPX, move to a German VPX only if empty or garrison, and only if once the move is complete a Soviet unit will be proximate to that unit. Well, it says move to a German VPX, so the need to know if they are German or not seems to be a relevant game element, to me anyway. My thinking was they might have been no one's VPXs unless occupied. The rules to me anyway don't appear clear, blah blah blah. And then Martin came on saying it was a good question because it says they can't be owned by either player. I said I'm glad to know it's not me. Then Tom came back with a good argument to how it is, describing the movement restrictions, where on turns 1 and 3 they apply to cities and map edge hexes, but from turn 4 they apply to all German VP hexes. And like he says at the end, have map edge hexes suddenly become uninteresting? Surely not. And I said, you make a very good case, Tom. Blah 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 blah. He does, especially with the restriction argument backing it up. But then I did say that, look, I don't see it clear in the rules. It's what I'm looking for, clarification. And I said, but I'm sure Mr. Butterfield, if he stops by, he'll agree with you. And John did come and say, hi Grant, Martin and Tom. Exciting to see the brain trust wrestle with this one. He says, as stated in Soviet Solo 17.1, map edge VP hexes are owned by neither side. However, as Grant points out, this leads to confusion in German action step 2 on turns 3 and 4. To correct that, the second sentence of that step should begin, move to a non-Soviet VP hex only if blah 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 blah. So he says he will add this item to my corrections list. He also says he fears that loophole may also impact some Soviet movement methods in the German solo game, and he's going to have a look into that. And I thanked him for that, and that was good. We eventually got it in the end, but I mean it was difficult to argue with what Tom was saying, but I get that. I mean, part of my argument was you shouldn't really have to look into other rules to try and find the answer to something that should just say, like, well, the way John's worded it, I was looking for something in the rules. What did I not say? I said somewhere in the rules. I'm looking for somewhere in the rules that states map edge VP hexes are considered German VP hexes while empty or garrisoned, you know, or something like that. But John's decided down the road of move to he's looking at the action step, move to a non-Soviet VP hex, right? Okay, I think we're done with that. Okay, so yeah, annoyed of course that I can't fix it, but there we go. It's brought up something to get sorted out and that, which is quite good in a way. It's quite nice to find something. I mean, whether most of the rest of you would have understood that the way Tom was seeing it, then fair enough. Right, sorry, my wife sneaked up on me there. So I'm not sure if she said anything that I need to cut out or not, but we'll see. I'll hopefully have a look at that just in case. yeah, I can't remember what I was saying now because I was blathering to her for a while. Right, we'll just move on. That's 20 minutes gone by, and yeah, just me talking about that. We'll just need to move on from that. There's nothing I can really do. I mean, part of me feels like things might have not been that different, but definitely things should have been in different positions. I suppose the only real worry is, would we have had a clear attack at that while that other unit was... Well, he was in this hex here, but like I say, we would have been able to surround the unit. And it might have been that we would just ignore that guy and go around. I mean, we'll never know, eh? We'll never know. I just need to move on. Okay. Well, we're at the end of the turn anyway, so... No, we've finished the turn, haven't we? Oh, yeah. Right, okay. Well, let's get the start of turn 4 going then. Okay. Or turn 5 even. Right, okay. So turn 5, now we know this support kicks in now. And like I had mentioned before, it doesn't seem there's anything on the actual sequence of play. Nothing jumping out at me. I mean, the end of turn phase says remove all dispersed and from turn 5 onwards forward support markers, but I don't see any mention of it. Yeah, no I don't. Right, so reserve phase. Deploy eligible German units already in reserve box. Well, there's not any. We managed to avoid any more reserves, although we did have enough, I think. But you can see the eliminated units waiting, standing by. So nothing to deploy. From turn 3 onwards, I may deploy Soviet units in reserve box with printed game turn 2 turns earlier than we've got. Well, fortunately that's got a 4 on it and we're on turn 5, so I need to wait till next turn. I mean, yeah, I think we moved the first guards, didn't we, rather than deploy that, but that is what it is. And then transfer all units from the current game turn calendar space to their reserve box. Right, I'll show you then. Okay, so there's the German reserves for the turn, another bunch, 7 units, one from Rouse. But a 4 strength infantry, so not bad. 3 mechanised units from the 48th and 3 mechanised units from the 40 Corps. And I think they go 5-4-4 and maybe 4-3-3, maybe, I'm not sure, but you can see they're quite strong units anyway. We do get something to get more excited about this turn though. Another 7 movement armoured unit, only 2 strength, but and then another 7th armoured unit, 7 movement from 3rd tank, which is 3 steps, 6 strength, so a really strong guy, that one. In fact, he's probably the best unit on the game that we've seen up to now, I think, because he's got 6 strength. The other one that's got 7 movements only got 4 strength, yeah. And then a 3-4, a 3 strength unit from 40th Army. So at least we've got something to consider. I mean, they're all from different armies, but well, yeah. Right, so then on to the card prep phase. Yeah, we get the calendar. I'll have a look. Well, I'm not dragging you up to the calendar. Soviet supplemental cards is 7, and it does highlight that we start Soviet support in this turn, right? So we're gonna have to have a look at that shortly again. And then the end of this turn, if we've got less than 15 victory points, it's a German strategic victory again. And again, we need greater than 25. We've also got the asterisks regarding the town, the city that we need to have as well. The fixed artillery range is up to 5, so that was 4 previously, so that's up 1 as well. So sort the cards out, so we get 7 supplementals. So I'll take the supplementals that we've already got, shuffle them up and we'll get 7. So we've got 7 supplementals. Again, we've got 2 left over, so that's a wee random factor there. Not sure about what. And then these are all, just checking they're all supplemental. Right, again, we're losing the Vornes and Southwest front without going heavily into things. Just double checking there's no primaries in there. So we won't be getting any of these cards back this turn. They go in there. Then we take the 6 primaries, just checking that they're all there. We put that in the draw pile and we will shuffle that up and draw our hand of 5 cards. Okay, and that's our shuffled up, drawn our hand. I haven't looked at it yet, so just let's see the German card. So again, nice and simple, all this shuffles up. I think I said we had 4 cards left, didn't we? So I'll get that shuffled up and create the command deck. Okay, so that's shuffled. Now this looks like it was shuffled, but I think I shuffled the deck twice actually. So we're looking for cards to come out. That's from 2 plus, 3 plus. Well, we were on turn 5 now, aren't we? 1 to 6, all 1 to 4. Okay, so that one's coming out. Is the boy Garrison. 1 to 5, that will come out next turn. 4 plus, all 3 plus. So they're all in. This one comes out, and we bring in a forward attack, which is 5 plus, a major offensive, which is 5 plus. An advance, which is 5 plus, and then these ones are for 6 plus. So this card goes out, and we actually got 3 new cards in. Right, I'll shuffle all of them up, and we'll create the German action deck. Okay, that's that all shuffled up. We've actually got 12 action cards now, up from 10 in the last couple of turns. Okay, so that's the cards done. Supply phase, right? Let's determine supply status of German units and then Soviet units. Okay, just looking at the Germans first. Nothing to look at there. They're fine. This guy down here's on the supply. Yeah, looking across, I don't think anything's in any trouble. These guys are all fine, and obviously the stuff all up there is fine. One of the ones across the side, he's on a supply. Yeah, I mean, they can't trace reserve supply off of this, but they can still trace supply. So yeah, these are all fine as well. Right, and for our guys, okay, well, in actual fact, I mean, we do have to look at this guy, and he does have to be able to trace supply. So I hope that's not an issue. No, we control all this road, all these roads all the way down. So that's a good part. But these are things to keep in mind when the Germans do start making moves. So to trace supply, I need to go around about this because the zone of control in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, then onto this road. Then we come down and around and onto the road and away we go. So, and he's already on the road. These guys are obviously not a problem. There's not any issues anywhere, is there, at the moment? It's certainly a game, maybe not looked like a game that's gonna be brought up too much, but it will happen, no doubt, when things move on a bit. So further down here, from the Soviet point of view, yeah, there's no issues. I mean, they've got their map edge here. They're all really quite close to that. Yeah, okay, so no issues with supply. Okay. Right, I said there was nothing regarding Soviet support on the sequence of play. Well, step 3 of the supply phase, and that's kind of where I thought it was and would be. But step 3, I'm just looking at the back of the book here on sequence of play, so maybe we'll go into the book in a second. It says, from turn 8, determine Soviet support line in use this turn. So I'm wondering if that's maybe a slight that could have more information, or maybe even a little bit of a misprint. Because from turn 5 is when we decide, is it not? Hang on. Okay, so again on page 9, under our supply phase, step 3, 8 plus check Soviet VPs to determine which Soviet support line to use throughout the game turn. And then it references 14.51, the rules, so I'm going to jump to that. But there's no mention of turn 5, but that feels like something that they've maybe... Okay, so 14.51. Wait, hang on. 14.5, this is on page 39, Soviet support. All hexes are in Soviet support throughout game turns 1 to 4. Beginning on game turn 5, hexes are in Soviet support or outside Soviet support. A hex must be in Soviet support in order for Soviet units In the hex to operate at full effectiveness, Soviet support is independent of supply state. I kind of feel like that should be a 5 plus, shouldn't it? I'm wondering if there's been a mistake there. So references 14.51. So a hex is in. This is 14.51 determinant support. Hex is in Soviet support if in the Soviet support zone valid on the current game turn, or within 5 hexes of a hex occupied by a Soviet forward support marker. The 5 hex range is traced through any terrain and regardless of the presence of German units. Then goes on to Western and Eastern Soviet support lines. So, and this is what we were trying to achieve, the Western support line. So, the Soviet support zone consists of all hexes to the east of the current Soviet support line. There are 2 Soviet support lines marked on the map, the Western line and the Eastern line. Note that the Eastern support line is also the Soviet artillery line, and that's the line that we looked at early on in the game. We were getting all our artillery, extra combat tactics and chip pools. So that would be the Eastern Soviet support line. So you can see you're not really gaining much for that. You would need to retreat all back into that area, I suppose. So so it says on between turns 5 and 7, the Western support line is in effect through game turns 5 to 7, and throughout any turn thereafter in which the Soviet player starts a turn with at least 21 victory points. Well, we do have it's bang on 21, isn't it? Did we not get another? Yeah, of course we didn't go into we dispersed, didn't we? So we've got 21, and that also, that the 21st one was this. We've got this, we've got it occupied, and we can trace supply, so that still counts as a point. So we've got the 21, so we do get the benefit of stretching out to the Western support line, which you can see is you seriously need that, because it's going to be really hard for you if you don't. And then it says from turn 8 onwards, starting on game turn 8, the Eastern support line is used throughout any game turn which the Soviets start the turn with less than 21 victory points. Starting on game turn 8, the Eastern support line is used throughout any game turn in which the Soviets start the turn with less than 21 victory points. Okay, right. And then from turn 8 onwards, in step 3 of each game turn supply phase. Okay, I've been speaking wrongly here then. I do still feel that should be part of. I don't know. No, maybe not. Maybe I just kind of thought there would be mention in the supply phase, the support phase, in the supply phase part of the sequence of play. But it says here 8 plus in step 3 of each game turn supply phase. Check the victory point level to determine which Soviet support line to use throughout that turn. But did we not do that in 5 to 7 anyway? Right, sorry, I got cut off there, and I was just trying to read back to catch up where I was. I was talking about the Soviet support line. I can't quite grasp how all that is. From turn 8, you check in step 3 of each game turn supply phase, check the victory point level, determine which Soviet support line. Maybe it'll become clear as we move on. At the moment, we are checking, we're on turn 5, and the Western support line is in effect if we start the turn with at least 21 victory points. So I think that's all we should be concerned with right now. We're starting the turn, we have at least 21 victory points. We're using the Western support line, and that's that line there. So let's just maybe forget about the rest until we need to look at it again. Okay. Yeah, it probably, it just looks like it's one of the ones that I just sometimes can't get my head around. So, right, move on. That's supply done. So, yeah, command phase, right, okay. So, I don't know how long this is trekking on as well. So, I'd still like to try and get my usual Soviet impulse and then German impulse. So, let's have a look at our hand. Okay, there's our starting hand. Looks like a pretty decent hand. No units cards. Now we've got we've got 3 of the supplemental cards for these armies, and it's becoming clear that that's where you're getting your replacement points from. Also, okay, not all of them. These 2 have the event forward support on them, so might be something we want to consider. Well, in fact, they have. Looks like, looks that they're the primary cards. They've got forward support as well, so plenty of opportunities for that. This one's got a special Hitler distracts. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to see that then, because it won't be available on turn 6, and it's only playable on turn 6. So, well, we'll keep that for another day, or you can go and look it up if you want. I'll just save it for when it happens. So yeah, pretty decent hand, I think. I mean, got a pop off, got a 3rd tank army. However, we're now kind of like all mellow and not wanting to get aggressive, and just wanting to stabilise things and that. So, you know, out of the 3, I suppose that we would want to repair. I mean, the 1st Guards Army, not really that fussed. The 6th Army and the 40th Army. Just looking at, yeah, I can see a 40th Army, a 6th Army unit that could be repaired. Infantry, well, actually we've got an infantry and a mech unit. Obviously we'd only be able to benefit from the infantry unit, that one. The 40th Army, maybe they haven't really been in the wars, have they? Just glancing here, no, I don't think. No, it doesn't look like anything's damaged in the 40th Army. So that's quite good to know that we've got this. Yeah, you know what? I preferred it the other way about, because the 6th Army I'd quite like to activate, because we wanted to get. We've got the 40th Army in here now, so we can get these guys moving. We've got the 1st Guards in here. That's annoying. Could it not have been the other way around? Grr. Okay, and then pop off. Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah, pop off. Still not taking this town because we got dispersed. We do have this guy down here that we'd probably want to go down for. Yeah, I would say we probably do want to have a go at that guy, and that clears everything out of this area. And then we need to. Yeah, we need to watch what's going on here, like. Okay, right, well, what do you want to do, Grant? Yeah, and I suppose I should be having a look at 3rd tank as well, but although Popov's maybe got something it wants to do, I'm not so sure 3rd tank has. I'm still a bit worried that I shouldn't be thinking this way. That I should be moving on with them, because obviously them and Popov are 2 major armies. We do have this guy that we could move up with the rest. You know, he's not really required here anymore. And even I think it's the 1 strength infantry in Kharkov that we've got. He's just sitting waiting to take a replacement point when it comes along, I think. So yeah, I don't really have. Yeah, I think I'd rather wait. I mean, I know we've got this guy up here in the victory point. I think I'd rather wait and things moving up. Yeah. Now, like I say, a lot of the cards have the event for the forward support marker, and that might be something we want to do. I don't think initially we want to rush into it, but this is outside the. Well, both these units, yeah. Both these, this stack and this town, it's a town more that's my concern, but it's a full stack in there, I think, isn't it? And then they're both outside the support line. So if German units started threatening towards them, I might want to consider using that event. And I know we can get coverage. Did I not say we could get coverage right up to there? I think if we placed it here, was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So if we placed it here, then that would cover these two hexes and up there. We won't be able to get covered up to that side, but we can't do that anyway. There's not a hex we can place it where it's going to cover that. So, but there's not enough of what going on. I mean, I don't think they're going to go in, but we don't know. We don't know what the action steps they're going to change up this turn. So maybe. So yeah, don't really want to jump in and do anything with Popov really. I kind of do want to move the 6th army. That's like I say, the annoying bit, because I would have probably carried it at repair. Well, you're going to get the primary card for them though, Grant. That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. We're going to get the primary card at some point in the turn to activate them, and we're not doing anything aggressive with them. We're just getting them moved down. Now, hold on. We do need to get something in here as well, don't we? Got 1st Guards Army. He's in there, right. He's taking a hit as well. It's just, I'm starting to think, yeah, you've got to remember that when you get these supplemental cards, it looks like they're the only ones that are going to replace your points, and you only get them this turn. Well, as in, I won't get it next turn is what I mean. So it's making me think I should take advantage of that, if need be. I mean, the 1st Guards aren't terribly important, admittedly. Oops, careful. We've got one in there as well. Yeah, we would probably step one of these guys up, wouldn't we, into here, and then that guy into there, and then that allows. But again, I don't, do I not want to repair that infantry unit, or do I care as much about them? Maybe not. I don't know. It's just that we know we're going to get the 1st Guards Army primary card at some point in the turn. Hi all, right, I know this is in the middle of the video. Well, hopefully it's in the middle of the video. I had to pause from that last part last night and never got back to things. So, yeah, I was just quickly had a look at the last bit I recorded, and it was basically talking about the fact that I've got these supplemental cards to do some replacement points and feeling like I should be using them. The fact that we only get them once every 2 turns, well, if you're lucky, once every 2 turns. Obviously got that random 2 cards that don't come back. So yeah, so what I think I'll do though, rather than think more of it, on it, shall I say, since I've just been rabbiting on about all that, is I think I might just activate Mobile Group Popov and go down and have a go at this guy. There's 23 points of strength here. But obviously I'd like to use something in the town, so I think I can get my 20 down here that I had wanted to do, get this guy surrounded and maybe have an attack on him. Yeah, because I'd like to take care of him before we think about anything else, although I'm not sure what that thinking of anything else is going to be. Well, I know the cards are in the way there, but there are a few options up in there, but there's quite a German force here, so not quite sure. So I think I'm going to do that. So yeah, let's just go with that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I forgot this the other thing about that forward support. Well, I've got that on lots of cards. I don't know if I really need to have it this turn. I mean, like I say, we've only got the 2 stacks of units outside the Soviet support line, so and I can't see them getting attacked for a bit yet, so I don't think I need to rush into that. Could probably avoid doing it this turn, and remember it drops off after the end of the turn, so I need to be sure if I'm going to use a card, for instance, I mean they're all pretty good cards, if you use a card like that to do that, I want to make sure I'm going to get the use out of it. I know certain other things come into it, like you can't put replacement points in units outside. There's a few things, I'll need to have a look at them again, mind you. So anytime we are outside that line, I need to consider what it is I'm trying to do and if it's feasible. Okay, so if I activate mobile group pop off, I'm not sure about these two guys here. I might well just be leaving them there. There was a thought to go across to the garrison, but I think that's then going to leave a gap here. However, I could, I suppose. Is one of them? No, they're both two strength. Yeah, I've got an IP, that's it. Right, they're both two strength. Well, you know what? I'll get these guys sorted first. Right, let's get these guys sorted first. So I'm leaving the 3 strength one there. Just now, I'm not. Well, I think that's maybe going into the town. Although I dare say, you know what? I dare say we can maybe leave the town. We've not taken this yet though. No, because when we move into it, I've got to stop, haven't I? Yeah. Okay, well, we'll leave that guy there just now, so we need to go round about then, because I don't want to be stopping just yet. So he's only one step. Well, yeah, we could end up with 2 stacks here still. So 1. Yeah, I'm not going to get the infantry round, am I? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm not. So it's going to have to be the mech units. That should be fine though. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, however, I only need to go in there, don't I? Yeah, I just need to get both these. Ooh, that's outside. That's outside the boundary, isn't it? Okay. Right then, hang on. Right, here's a quick rundown of what unsupported Soviet units, how an effect it has. Page 39, 14.52, effects of unsupport on Soviet units. No strategic movement. A unit starting its move in a hex outside support can't conduct strategic movement. So my guess was we're starting in that line there, so we would be allowed to use it within other guidelines. Unsupported attack. A Soviet attack in which all the participating Soviet units and the German defenders are in hexes outside Soviet support is considered unsupported. Well, this is where we would be, because we'd be attacking from these 2 hexes, and he's obviously outside the line as well. The way I'm reading there, that if he happened to be inside and we were outside, then we would still get the support, but the likelihood of that, maybe any place, I don't know. So we're considered unsupported, right? Does it tell you? Right, okay. If at least one attacking unit or the German defenders are in a hex in Soviet support, the attack is supported. Right, does it not start telling me about right. So we're unsupported. Okay. That's an unsupported attack. Right. Unsupported defense. Soviet units defending in a hex outside Soviet support against a German attack are considered unsupported. Right, yeah, here it tells you here. No combat tactics. Combat tactics are not applied to an unsupported Soviet attack or defense, so we can't play combat tactics. Combat chits effects. Certain combat chits apply to an unsupported Soviet attack or defense, and we've seen them and they're not very pleasant. No reserve placement. Reserve units can't be deployed in a hex outside support. No replacements. Soviet unit in a hex outside Soviet support can't be assigned replacements. No improved positions. A Soviet unit in a hex outside Soviet support can't receive an IP but retains an IP previously placed. Yeah, and then you've got Soviet support markers, it tells you about them. So there we go. So if I do make this move, my attack is going to be outside the zone. Now, I wasn't planning on playing a combat tactic, but the more worry is the chip pools. However, if I was to place a Soviet support marker somewhere, in here. I don't know where I would be putting it. I would want it within 5 of that, but I would want it to stretch out, wouldn't I? But can you see yourself making any more use of that, really, in this turn? Maybe. Well, I mean, that's empty, though. I mean, that's not to say it's always going to sit empty like that, Grant. We do have some more 40 core units waiting to come in, which would be deployed across this side. So I'm guessing if they seen a threat of me going up to that, they would be in like a flash into there. So yeah, I don't feel like I want to play a card to do that event. So I think I'm going to take my chances here. Again, first time playing. I'm getting that excuse quite a lot. I'm not coming up with that excuse quite a lot. Yeah, well, I meaning you guys would maybe be looking at this saying, oh, I wouldn't be doing that. That's a bit risky, but okay, I'm going to take a chance with it. And I mean, it's a chip draw thing, isn't it? I mean, you could get lucky, you could get not so lucky. I've seen quite a lot of them, but sometimes I'm pretty sure I've drawn combats where I've not drawn any of them at all. But right, okay, I'm going to go with it then. So this guy's going to come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into there. Yeah, like I say, we don't need to go on both parts. And then these two, this is 5 steps, but this is only 1 step. So I will move these two, move this guy 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll just keep them as 2 stacks. 1, 2, 3, 4, because 2 stacks is 2 big stacks is a good idea. And we're not going to have them flanked. Right, well, we do want that. The little 2 strength guy. Actually, he came from afar, didn't he? I can't remember where they were now. Well, I know he was there, so let's just see if he can reach down. I think he can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So, are we comfortable at leaving him on his own down there? I mean, if this unit survives, activates, Soviets exposed with a 4 command value card, this guy's going to be dead. And I'd prefer to leave the 3 strength one up there, really, because yeah, he's got much more to worry about, I think. Well, maybe not. Maybe split them up in that way then. So that guy would move to there. I can't remember where. I think they were in here, weren't they? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's fine. So I'm going to split these 2 up then, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, bring this in with this guy. I'm better having. Well, hang on, Grant. If I get them all in there and all in there, we've got flank. Right, but we'll do that instead. Right, they were all able to make it, weren't they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm no longer at my bed. Shall we say? We'll go with that. We'll try that one. Right, and then the infantry. Just go 1, 2, and then 3 in here. Now we've got the flank. Yeah, there's the other thought. The other thought is, if I do leave a unit in there, then he's completely shut off, and that gives us 1d hit less, doesn't it? Because right now we would need d3 to eliminate him. d3 retreats him once, taking a step loss, then retreats him twice, then takes his final step loss for 3. Whereas if I surround them completely, is it not just D2 we need? If I surround them completely, D2 takes the step loss, Yeah. That's kind of worthy then, isn't it? Because we're going to draw a minimum of 2 chits. If we get lucky and get D2 out of the 2 chits. Okay, you've convinced me. Right, I'll leave that guy in there then. You can see the dilemma there though. You want to have 2 stacks so that you can then activate 2 stacks when it comes about. Or do we take a chance and put these 2 guys together and say, we're going to get this guy? Maybe. How many chip pools? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's a large attack chip pools as well. The worry is the unsupported chits coming up. That is a big worry. I mean, it's just it would be nice to activate these 2 stacks if I do happen to get a units card. Okay, I think I'll take a wee chance with that then, and hope that this guy doesn't survive. I mean, that he's got to survive, he's got to activate, he's got to then have a command card to activate him that's a 4 or 5, and he's got to draw the Soviets exposed cards. What's the chances? Right, okay, let's do that. Now, he is getting a combat tactic though to come, so we'll need to have a look at what that's going to be. Are we good? Yeah, well, we can't play combat tactics because of that. Because we're outside the support line. We're unsupported. Oh dear. Oh, wait a minute. We've got other units, Grant. We've got other units that we're considering, well, to do things with. Now, what was I going to do? I don't think it's essential to cover this. I know we've not taken it yet, but however, hang on, can they not deploy right in there? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Well, yeah, we should go and take it with something then. Well, this guy's got an IP on him, right? So, although he's a 2 strength, he's got an IP. No, hang on, no. Hang on. It's not just that. There's not just Soviets exposed in the action cards, Grant. There's other things, other bad things. And we shuffled 3 more in this turn, didn't we? Well, I think maybe I just drop back and take the town then. I would have liked to move up to that garrison, but then again, is that garrison getting in the way? Not really. I think if we're going to maybe the 10-10 in, it's going to be that way. Right, okay, I'm going to drop this guy back into there. We're going to take control of that town. Let's make the marker. And we're going to get ourselves another victory point. Up to 22. Yep. 22. Okay. And we're just going to leave these guys here. Yeah, because like I said, if I move them to there, it is creating a bit of a gap. Not that I don't know how relevant that is. I mean, it didn't. I mean, the last time, what was it? We had the first Panzer card that activated all these units, apart from the Rouse, and they sat there and built IPs. So, however, I did say that we're now on to turn 5. The action steps are going to change up again, and we added 3 new action cards. So, bear that in mind, Grant. Right. Okay. That's all our movement. We're going to attack here. So. We need a German combat tactic. We are on turn 5, so here we go. 4+ reinforced battle. Well, that's perfect because he cannot reinforce that battle. There's no way in. Doesn't shuffle in. That card's gone. Okay, so now minimum of 2. Well, let's get the odds sorted out, Grant. It was 20, wasn't it? That's 10, 12, 14, and 6 is indeed 20. So 5-1 odds. Yeah, good numbers. We've got him completely surrounded. We only need D2. The only thing he's got armour. And he's in a victory point hex. However, remember, this isn't a town or a city. It's not classed as that. So, as far as I believe anyway, it doesn't say anything that he should benefit from that. How many chip pools? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, full 7 chip pools. Right, okay. Right, let's get the minimum 2. And just remember, we are unsupported in this, so I'm going to find out if this is going to go wrong shortly. Right, I'll get the 2. Oh, I panicked there when I drew that. I thought, oh no, I'm not supported. Right, it's defender not supported, thankfully. Because I looked at it and I thought, D2. I thought, well, hang on, that's good. But no, defender not supported. And the good thing is, that was the priority side, so, but we're not the defender, we're the attacker. Well, hang on. No, the Germans. No, that's. Hang on, I know I'm being stupid here. Hang on. Yeah, Germans don't. They don't deal with support. They're not support. It's only if it's a Soviet unit, and so that's only if we were defending, and we were unsupported, then that would count. However, let's say that was the priority side, but look on the good side and we get 5-1, so excellent. So one more like that and we can stop and go home. Right, I'll get the second minimum one. Okay guys, you've got to have a bit of trust, honestly. I did not look, I drew it out of the cup. There was 59 chits to draw from there, because that was the 60th one that I drew first, because they've all been refreshed. How about that? Excellent. And it was just less than 3-1 on at the back, no priority or anything. So D2 from 2 draws. So that scary part about having to draw. I mean, if I was sitting at D1, would I be drawn up to 7 right now? I don't know. I'd be. Look how that last attack went with the A hits. Now maybe we wouldn't be considered about getting 1 A hit there. But I wouldn't be wanting to disperse them and things like that, and so it would have been a tough choice. However, that is a 2 minimum. We only need D2 to eliminate. That's right, innit? Because he can't retreat at all. He doesn't get anything for being in the VP hex. Like, as far as I'm led to believe, it's not a town. It's not a city. So he has to sit there and take 1 hit from D1 and then 1 hit from D2. He's eliminated. How perfect was that for a start? Right, I'm just going to stretch up here. Hang on. I better pause. Yeah, what a superb start there. Okay, I needed that after that last attack in there. We got kind of bashed about a bit, and okay, we replaced one of the points, but replaced one of the points that we lost in the battle. So yeah, that's it. So that was good. Well, advance after combat, Grant. Well, I suppose you should, shouldn't you? The thing with this one is, maybe not, because I don't think I'm going to occupy that hex with any of these guys. Oh, however. Yeah, I never considered that. Like I've just said about the possibility of something deploying in there as a reserve, if I just move away from that, what's to stop something deploying as a reserve in there? I guess there's nothing. Now, we have been told now that... Yeah, I would have preferred to have been told what these are. I mean, then again, the way that John's going to word that regarding the movement method, not the movement method, the action step. So what is it? Non-Soviet. So it'd be move to VP hex, move to non-Soviet VP hex. So, well, but we're talking about deploying here, so this is a reserve. Method A, hex is empty or garrisoned, or a city hex occupied by only one German step. I'm going to have to leave something in there, am I? Because the priority is placement hex is a VP hex. And there's no mention of whether it's German or anything within the... It doesn't confuse the issue there. It would just deploy it in there. As long as it met the other... I mean, if I move away from that just now, we've got 40 core units. This is our army area. It's not in the Soviet artillery barrage zone. In German reserve supply. Okay, assuming they could trace that to... Could we maybe make sure that didn't happen? I don't think so. Not right now, anyway. Well, we're not moving from that hex just now. And certainly nothing can go in it just now. Well, I think I'm better putting something in it. Whether the first guards can cover that hex as well, because that is more important than the town. Because once you take a town or city, you get a control marker, you know, an ownership marker. You don't get that for these. You've got to leave a unit in them to protect them. So I probably definitely do want something along there. And yeah, there's a few other conditions. I mean, you know, obviously Soviet unit needs to be proximate to it, but that's going to be the case if that guy's sitting there, you know. Okay, Grant, you've convinced yourself. Right, well, what are we putting in there? Well, I just put that 2 strength infantry. Well, I'm keeping them together, so I'm going to move all the stack infantry in there. Oh, wait a now though. We could we not create... well... Yeah, actually. Well, mind you, that means the mech... Oh, no, I can do that. So these all go in here. And obviously we don't get an ownership marker. But however, it does give us the VP. So I'm going to take that now because we control that hex. We're occupying that hex and we can trace 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh. Okay. Well, we can get up to this road, but it's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the city, and then we're on a road that takes us off. Oops. We can just reach it even without that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, actually, we can't reach the Soviet map edge, but we can reach this road that goes in and down. So that's fine. So yeah, I'm going to give myself the point. I just need to remember if I do move out of it, that I take that point away. So we're up to 23. This has been a good turn. 2 victory points already. A good impulse. Yeah, and what I'm thinking is, I'll advance that guy into there for 1, and then second hex advance, I'll advance back out into there. And we've got our 2 stacks again. Perfect. And it was a 2 hex advance because we eliminated the unit. No path of retreat, but nothing to worry about there, so I think that's all good. Okay, that's that impulse done, and we'll get a German impulse, and I'm hoping this isn't going to be too long. Fingers crossed it's not too complex an impulse. We do need to draw another card, so let's see what we get. Yeah, okay. We have 69th Army, that's the primary card for that. So, no repairing with that one. Well, not that we care too much about them. Air supply from 4+. I think that will probably be regarding resupply, you know, if something's out of supply. But yeah, well, we can get the guys moving a bit. They need to start making a move. Okay, right, okay, I'll get the next German impulse. And just give me a sec. Yeah, just check their supply. It does say place all units in 1 hex in full supply. So if you happen to get some units isolated or trouble with supply, so unlikely going to need that event. Okay, German Impulse. 48th, right, well they're one of the ones that have reserves, so yeah, that's 4th Panzer Army, so that's over the other side. Okay, so pretty sure that's going to happen. If not, they've got plenty they could bring back from the dead. Okay, so deploy all 48th Corps reserves. I'm pretty sure there's 3 of them, pretty sure they're all mechanised. I think that whole corps is all mechanised. Yeah, not seeing any infantry anyway. Maybe you guys know that. Right, okay, well let's get them down, because more than likely now, yeah, actually no restriction on that too, so even if we only get 1 deployed, but remember we're in method B, so if we get, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're all going to deploy. Okay, I'll get them down, we'll have a look. Okay, there's the big view of things. Now we've got 1 there, we've got 1 there, there's a second SS unit underneath that. We've got 1 here with an IP. So we do have just 3 units on the map. Right, while we're looking at units on the map, well, right, we're deploying reserves, grand. Okay, well, it's worth noting that they're there. If it comes to it, it might come into it. Yeah, right, grand. Okay, right, so method A, here's, yeah, important bit is the units that are deploying. Yeah, so they're 4 strength 1 and 2 3 strength. And that's the order. We're going to deploy the 4 strength 1 first. Select a number 4, 5 and 6. We're still looking at method A first. So it says enter garrison in reserve units army area not in Soviet artillery barrage. So our area is yeah, I'll just open things up a little bit because we'll need to look at the bigger picture. Between this line and this line, that's their area. Yeah, okay. In German reserve supply were reserve placed in the hex, yeah, so common sense there. Right, now this is where this next part changes up a little bit, however I think we've got all the bases covered anyway. Soviet unit proximate to hex, or on turns 3 and 4, now we're on turn 5 now, so we ignore this bit, but that was the one that put them in a German city. We disregard garrisons when determining Soviet proximity, so keep that one in mind. Maybe not relevant to the area we're looking at. And then the big one. Right, sorry, got cut off there and don't have an awful lot of time left, so I'd like to get this bit finished and start uploading. Because I'm up to date, I've watched all the episodes I've reviewed back, and annoying thing was the one mistake I found was I watched it from part 31 to 35 in the last day or so, and it was part 31 that had that mistake, and I figured, could it not have been 35 and then I'd be fixing it right now. However, so I'm up to date with that, so I'd like to get another one out there to you. So that's not to say that there could be mistakes, just that I've never seen any of them. There's a couple of things I speak wrongly about, which I tend to do quite a lot. I think I put one or two comments in the headers, nothing really important, just about what I'm talking about. Talking rubbish, probably. Right, so, where was I? Sorry, I've been away for 10 minutes there. So we're trying to deploy the units. Yeah, a unit would not be in dangerous round, placed in the hex. And then it prefers a VP hex. Yeah, okay, so there's not any, so we're looking at unit selector number 4. There's not any VP hexes we're approximate to anyway, so it's going to be possibly around this area and here, I would think, maybe. So let me go and find some possibilities. Okay, I thought I'd look at the 3 possibilities to start with, this being the lowest position number, which it does come down to, and the reason being I want to be within 3 of the core. That's the second preference. First preference, hex, a VP hex with the lowest position number. Like I said, there's none of them. And the second preference is within 3 hexes of a unit in the same core. So the 3 are probably good possibilities. Next preference is removes dangerous round from our German unit. Well, nothing's really changed up there. Yeah, nothing's changed. None of these units are in dangerous round. We don't need to look at them. Third tank haven't moved. And then next preference would be not in dangerous round, but obviously that's part of the criteria. And next one is non-map edge hex, so it's none of them. And then next one's the lowest position number, and that's why I thought I'd start. That's 104, that's 111, that's 123, just in the boundary there, so all good. So let me see if 104 might work. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to carry on the trend here of being unsurroundable, that hex, because it just, once you start putting them within 2 of other units in that sort of line way of doing it, it seems to work. Maybe yous have worked that one out long before I have. I've got this as its out hex. We cannot, if we place the unit there, we cannot get a zone of control in that hex, I don't believe. I can't get anything in there. I wouldn't be able to get anything in here, because this unit would be here. So just to make it a bit clearer, sometimes it's better seeing the unit. You know, I can't get in there round about. So I think that one's going to be it. 104, I mean, this is a lower position up here, but I don't think, no, we're not proximate to that, and it's adjacent to German unit. 89 is not within 3 of the core. So yeah, it was between the 3, and just needed to check for, I mean, I could check for dangerous round on these as well. It is possible they might be, but when it comes down to it, this is going to be the lowest position number. So I think that guy goes in there. But the good thing is I'm going to try and get this video up here, and maybe there'll be a bit of time for it to, the dust to settle, and see if things are correct or not. Unit would not be in dangerous round. I don't believe that is. Not adjacent to German unit, that's fine. And then, like I say, it's within 3 hexes of a unit in the same core. We didn't need to remove dangerous round. It's not in dangerous round. It's the lowest position number. Yeah, okay. So what about the next guy then? Number 5. Well, again, we're looking within 3. So I suppose we could stretch to here, and in actual fact, 1, 2, yeah, it doesn't quite get to here. But this is 89. I suppose that, well, that's 97, but it's adjacent to, not adjacent to German unit OS, it's a VP hex, or adjacent German unit can't resupply. No, so I wouldn't consider that one. 1, 2, 3, I mean, that is another one within 3. I don't think we're going to get 89 though. It's just coming away from the, you know, if it was in here, it might well be, but it's not, it's in here. So, because I'm pretty sure we can go 1, 2, and then 1, 2, yeah. So that's surroundable. Now these 2 are still valid as well. 149, well that's 111 and 123, so I could say 74 is, well, it's 4 away actually to start with, but it's adjacent. No, doesn't matter about adjacency to Soviet unit grant, but it's 4 away from the core. So what about this one then? Because this would be the lowest number, and again, we don't need to bother about any of the other parts. So it's mainly to check if that guy's in danger of surround. So is he? Let me just try again with that, because I like the look of that better. It looks easier to work out. Right, well, we know this guy can go 1, 2, 3. See, that's into the woods though, so yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's really only getting to there, and we're not going to get anything into there, are we? Yeah, and that's going to be his out hex, isn't it? That one there, I'm pretty sure, because we can't get anything around the back. That's only infantry. Not got the movement to get around there. Yes, we can get up close to, we can get into here, or No, we can't get into here, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's right, innit? Yeah. We can't get into there. We need to stop when we reach here. So yeah, actual fact, I think that's as far as we need to go. Because that is the lowest between the 3, 1, 1, 1. Okay, this is moving quicker than I anticipated, which is good. And hopefully it's, hang on, I'll leave that. Well, actually, no, we're not proximate to that hex, are we? Because we just said we can't get into that woods. And this is a boundary, so we can't look ahead of this. We looked at 89 already, nothing changed with the placement of that unit, so maybe just this one we've got left, possibly. That looks surroundable as well, though, isn't it? Yeah. Put it down a little bit, you can see 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's surrounded. Okay, so we might not have anything within 3 of the core then that's not surroundable, and we're proximate to. No, that's a pity. I would have liked to have just plonked that guy down and be done with that. Okay, so where is he going then? Within 3 axes, right, within 3 axes in the same core. Well, if we can't achieve that, our next priority, well, you're still looking lowest position number. It just needs to be, we need to be proximate to it and in the area and not in danger of surround. So we're just looking in the area, but right, let me have a wee look. Okay, I'm struggling to find anything that's not in danger or surround. I did come back and have a glance at some of the hexes in here, but I thought you've got to be able to trace reserve supply, but there was a couple of them in here. I thought as long as I can get up to this road here, and remember it's a trace of 7 hexes now. However, because it just looked like there wasn't much Sovietness round about, but however they are still surroundable. I worked out we've got a mechanised unit underneath there, 40th Army, so none of these in here work. I've looked. Yeah, I mean 60 there. I'm sure I looked. Let's see, we've got a mech unit there, 1, 2, 3, and then it'd be 4, 5, 6, and then this guy comes down here. So yeah, none of these are. They're all surroundable. And we did say, like I say, we can't get into there. We're not proximate to there. So I think we're stuck. So where does that leave us? Yeah, in fact, no, because that's part of the criteria, isn't it? And it would not be in a German city, German map edge hex, or removing dangerous surround from. Oh. Wait just now, Grant. Wait just now, Grant. Yes, just as well. I had a little glance here. Some of you are nodding your head right now. Method A, the 3, 4, 5, 6 bullet. Unit would not be in dangerous surround if placed in hex unless A, in German city, right, so there's none of them. B, in German map edge hex, well, we weren't looking at any of them. C, placement removes dangerous surround from another German unit, and the way we're placing these units, there's none of that. Now, why didn't I read on and read the last bit? The last bit is, or D, the hex is outside Soviet support. There we go. Now, does that affect anything I've placed already? Maybe. I might need to reset these. Damn it. Now, there's a Soviet support line there, so we're probably only looking at maybe this hex. This is adjacent to German units, so we wouldn't really look at. I think it's only this one. This one's just outside the Soviet support. It is surroundable, but it doesn't care because it's outside Soviet support. I mean, it doesn't care. I mean, it prefer not to be, because even within its preferences, the preference D is not in dangerous round. So if it could avoid that, it would. But like I say, I've looked at all the hexes. Now, I think when we place Unit 4, that wouldn't have been an option, that hex, would it? So, and that was not surroundable, and that was the lowest position hex. Yeah, bearing in mind it doesn't care if it's going to be in dangerous round outside the Soviet support zone. I think that placement was still correct. However, this one may well have been getting placed in here, I think. Let me just leave a marker there and put that guy there. Because it's, yeah, unit would not be in dangerous round unless from turn 5 onwards, which is where we're at, the hex is outside Soviet support. So that is outside Soviet support. Yeah, so I think that one would go there before there, based on it being a lower. Oh no, hold on. Right, preferences are VPX with lowest position number. Within 3 hexes of your unit in the same core, both of them are, right, yeah. Hex that removes dangerous round from our German unit or enables trace supply, yeah, nah. D is not in dangerous round, E is non-map edge hex, and F is lowest position number. So, in actual fact, D prioritizes before, you know, the not in dangerous round prioritizes before the lowest position number. So, this guy will go here because he's not in dangerous round. When we want to place this guy, however, I'd said there was no hexes available. They're all in dangerous round, but this one is just outside the zone, so I think he goes there. So it does look like we're going to get away with that, I think. Yeah, because I couldn't find a hex that was not in dangerous round, but that is in dangerous round outside the Soviet support line. It's also within 3 of its core as well. Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Never 100% confident, but pretty good. Yeah, so more German units hit the map. And remember, although they can only deploy within these boundaries, they don't. Once they're on the map, they can go where they want. Not like us, that we are slightly restricted. They can go where they want. So, yeah, I mean, we've got a good force here though, and they're scattered about a little bit. But I don't know, a wee bit of a stalemate in the middle there. I think if I don't do anything, they're probably just going to sit and not do anything either. But whether that's going to make for a bit of a dull experience watching that or not, I don't know. But I mean, I don't feel I'm ready to bash through. Oh, you know what I forgot about? We've got some reinforcements as well. I forgot about that. We've got some nice reinforcements too. Okay, that's the end of that German impulse, I believe. Hopefully done correctly, but we will see. Right, I'm going to get away for now. I need to take a bit of a break. Hopefully this part can be put together and not be terribly long. I do feel like it's going to be an hour, and hopefully only up to an hour and a half at the most, but I'm not 100% sure there's that many different parts of it. Okay, I'll get away for now, guys, and should be back later this afternoon with the next Soviet impulse. Okay, cheers.